Peace and welcome to another Supreme Numerics offering. Get your pens and paper ready to take notes because Mr. Westbrook's class is now in session. And today's lesson is October 2024 forecast and a preview to 2025 and how to make the most out of this month of October, as well as the vibration and meaning of October from a supreme numerics perspective. Now let's get into it. Today's date is Tuesday, October 1st, 2024. We're experiencing some triple one energy. One for the month, it's the 10th month. 1 plus 0 equals 1. 1 for the calendar day, it's the first of the month. So get your checks and come on. Nah, but it's also a one universal day. And if you recall from my previous videos, you find that the universal day by adding up the current month, the current day, and the current year. And you reduce it all the way down, and it adds up to a one. And I find it very fitting that we have all of this one energy starting off the new month and starting off the new week, as the number one represents new beginnings, a clean slate, a chance to start over brand new. So take advantage of that energy. If your September was rough, ended off rough, or even your last week was rough, or even if your Monday was rough, it's only Tuesday. It's still the beginning of the week, so you still have a chance to clean the slate off and start again new. Now let's get into this monthly forecast and how you can be in harmony with this month of October. Now, who remembers how I found the universal month? Raise your hand if you remember. It's okay if you forgot. If you did forget, you find the universal month by taking the current year. Current year is 2024, and adding it to whatever month you want to know about. We want to know about October. Since we're just coming into October, October is the 10th month on the calendar. So you would add up 2024 plus 10. 2 plus 0 plus 2 plus 4 plus 1 plus 0 brings us to the number 9. October is a number 9 month. And some numerologists will say that even though 9 is a universal month, we're still affected by the energy of the number 1 since October is the 10th calendar month. Now, I know some of you out there are saying, well, this is a newer calendar. What about the original calendar? The prefix of October is Oct. Oct means 8. October was originally the 8th month. Yes, I'm with you. I got you. But since we've been operating under this Gregorian calendar for so many centuries, we're vibrating under that frequency of October being the 10th month. So we're going to stick with that and operate under that energy. Now, I listed the major themes of October here. What I'll do is I'll go through each one of them and provide a brief description. Some of the bullet points are related, and I'll consolidate and combine some of the thematical bullet points. So let's start with the first one. Endings and finishing what you start. The number 9 is connected to endings, finality, conclusion, and that's in both or either or your professional and personal life. It can represent the endings of relationships. It can represent the endings of a job, a partnership. It could represent the ending of an energetic or spiritual cycle for you. And it's connected to finishing what you start. Some of you might start something new during this month of October. But since it's a 9 universal month, it's important for you to make sure that you see that endeavor to its conclusion. Endings are also connected to letting go of what no longer serves you. That can be negative mindsets, habits, people who are liabilities rather than assets. Back in October, I told you, or we told you, to take inventory of what are liabilities and what are assets in your life. Now, if you did that, you can go back to that list, look at those two columns. What's a liability? What's an asset? Everything that's a liability. This is a perfect time to let go of those things, those not peoples, people, mindsets, habits, anything that's negative. It's a time to let that go. If you have for, let's say, a do it yourself project, a book that you've been reading for several weeks or months that you haven't finished yet. Finish that project, finish that book this month. October is the energy for that. We have dreams fulfilled. If you've been doing manifestation work and doing that work consistently, anything that you've been working towards, there's a good chance that that objective or goal will come into fruition under a number 9 cycle this month of October. Dreams fulfilled, manifestation, inspiration. Number 9 is tied to inspiration, meaning I always say start with the foundation. Inspire yourself first, and when you inspire yourself, you can inspire others. And it doesn't have to be some grand type of inspiration, like you go out to the world and spread the news to all the 7 continents of the world, all the 4 quarters of the earth. I mean, you can do that since the number 9 is a global and universal number, but you can start simply, like I said, with yourself, with your family, with your immediate community, with your coworkers, with your friends. Be an inspiration to them. And when you do that, you will be in harmony with this month of October. And it will uh, progress and end off positively for you if you do that. Now I'm going to jump around a bit. I was just writing down these themes as they came to mind. I could have categorized them with the positives and the more challenging aspects, but I'll jump around a little bit. And I think that's a maybe that was unconsciously intentional that I started with the positives and then put the more challenging things in the middle, and then I'll go back to the positives so I can start off on a high note and end off on a high note. Now, getting into the more challenging sides of the number 9. Number 9 is connected to the planet Mars, which is the planet of war. War can be in the traditional sense of conflicts between nations, such as Russia and Ukraine. We see that going on, and we see other conflicts going on around the world. But it doesn't have to be traditional war. It can be spiritual war or spiritual warfare, internal warfare. It can be conflicts between family members, conflicts between co-workers, conflicts between strangers. And I drew an arrow from open enemies to conflict because the number 9 is the number of open enemies, right? Open enemies, conflicts go hand in hand. Now, the way that these open enemies and these conflicts can manifest themselves is when people allow their temper to get the best of them. They let their temper get out of hand. They let their hasty behavior get out of hand. That's why it's important to slow down and have patience during a number 9 cycle this month of October. So, in order to avoid those conflicts and avoid those enemies, or I won't say avoid, I'll say minimize, because you can be as courteous, letting your light shine as bright as possible, and people will still oppose you. But what you can do is minimize the amount of conflicts that you experience by vibrating on the higher side, by being an inspiration, by keeping your temper in check, your temper and your anger in check, exercising patience, slowing down to breathe, to respond and not react. Those are the ways that you can minimize the number of open enemies you have and the conflicts that you experience. Now, another challenge that comes with the number nine are accidents, particularly accidents with fires, sharp objects, car accidents. So these are things that we use on a daily basis, but we should exercise additional caution during the month of October when we're in the kitchen dicing up our onions and bell peppers to saute in the avocado oil or the olive oil. Slow down, take your time when you're doing that to lessen the chance that you nick yourself or cut yourself with that knife. If you light candles in your home, double check that you put the candles out at night or when you leave the house. Or if you have a gas stove and you're cooking in the house, or if the weather is still nice and you're throwing something on the grill, on the charcoal grill, exercise extra caution with fire, with flames. When it comes to other types of accidents, and I mentioned car accidents, be a defensive driver more than usual this month because there's a higher chance that accidents can occur during this cycle. I can give you a prime example that I experienced over the weekend, and it wasn't even October yet. It was the last days of September. I was on the road this weekend, road tripping it. My cousin's baby shower was in West Virginia, so that was my final destination, and that was on Sunday. But Lloyd Strayhorn, my teacher and colleague, he was having an event in Capitol Heights, Maryland. So I decided, why don't I make a whole weekend out of it? Stop in Maryland on Saturday, continue on to West Virginia on Sunday. On my way to Maryland, I was actually in Maryland on I-95. I was about maybe 20 or 30 minutes out from Capitol Heights. And of course, I saw a few stalled vehicles throughout the entire weekend, not just in Maryland, but going to West Virginia, coming back to West Virginia to Jersey, where I live. I saw stalled vehicles. I saw a couple of accidents, but what I saw that was very unfortunate was that one of the accidents, I'm not sure if it was a wreck or some other type of accident or incident, saw a fatality on I-95. The traffic was backed up, bumper to bumper in both directions. I was going south. Going south was flowing a little bit more than going north because the incident happened on the northern bound side of I-95. But driving past, I saw a white sheet with some feet sticking out from underneath the sheet. Fatality occurred probably from some type of accident, you know. And the number nine is also connected to death. I forgot to mention that with the wars and the conflict. The number nine is also connected to death. So we might see an increase, an influx of death during a nine cycle. And also keep in mind that this is also a preview to 2025. So all of the themes that come up or that I'm mentioning during this cycle, this monthly cycle, will be the same themes for the month of 2025. So instead of me repeating all of this in my 2025 video towards the end of December, I would probably review some of these themes very briefly, but maybe do a month to month highlight or forecast uh, outlook of the entire year going from month to month. But anyway, be careful on the road driving. Be a defensive driver. And as a side note, I find it very ironic how people hate being in traffic, being in bumper to bumper, barely moving traffic, but they won't change their driving ways or their driving habits. Like, do y'all not understand that by driving crazy and driving reckless, you're the reason why the traffic is backed up because you got into an accident and now they have to block off one of the lanes, or people are rubbernecking trying to see what happened, and that's holding up traffic. I guess people are driving so fast and so crazy that they don't notice the accidents. Maybe if they slow down and notice some of these bad accidents, that might change their behavior. But maybe not. Some people just never learn. They just have to learn the hard way. But anyway, going back to the themes of the number nine. The number nine. Now let's get back to the higher side of the number nine. I think I gave you all enough doom and gloom challenges for the number nine side. Let's go back to the higher vibration. Another theme on the higher side of the number nine is humanitarianism. And what that means is giving of yourself. In church, they say give up your time, your talent, and is there another T? Is it your tithes or your 10? But anyway, you can apply that to the secular world also. This month of October is the opportune time to give back in the form of volunteering, monetary donations, donating, clothing, food. Clothing is a good idea. If we're talking about clearing out the old endings, letting go of what no longer serves you, so we can embrace the new for that one universal month in November, maybe donating clothing, old clothing that you no longer need, might be the perfect type of donation and the perfect way to tap into your humanitarian side. Right? And by giving of yourself unselfishly and with the right intentions, you will be rewarded. We also have creativity, particularly with the arts. You can be on the right side of October and vibrate on the higher side of October and make the most out of this month by tapping into your creativity and your artistic side. And even if you're not an artist, you don't even have to publish it or put it out to the world. You can just do it for your own therapy and for your own elevation. And you can express yourself artistically and creatively, that's the word, creatively, through the written word, music, visual arts, performing arts. Any of those methods are examples of ways that you can tap into your creativity. And I already spoke about patience and slowing down, patience with other people so you can avoid conflicts, slowing down so you're not moving too hastily and getting yourself into accidents or causing accidents. Those are the themes for this 9 universal month. Now, this energy is universal. It affects everyone on a broad scale, but there are certain people and groups of people who will be affected even more by this energy. And those happen to be those of you who are born on the 9th, the 18th, and the 27th of any month, and those of you who are Aries and Scorpio. And the reason that is because those birth dates match up to the cycle number. It's a 9 universal month. If you're born on the 9th, being born on the 9th is the same as the 9 universal month. 18, 1 and 8 is 9, 2 and 7, 2 and 7 is 9. Aries and Scorpio are both ruled and connected to the number 9. Now, will it affect you in a positive way or a negative way? That depends on you. If you choose to vibrate on the higher side of manifestation, letting go of what no longer serves you, being an inspiration to yourself and others, being slow to anger, avoiding conflict, giving of yourself, tapping into your creativity, being patient and slowing down, then you will have the upper hand and you will be ahead of the curve for October. But if you're operating on the negative side, getting into fights and arguments with people, rushing, being in a rush, uh, holding on to toxic behaviors and people, things that you know good and well you should be letting go of, then you will it will not be such a good month for you. It will be a more of a challenging month for you if you're vibrating on the lower end of that number 9. So that's everything about the number 9. Like I said, this is also a preview to 2025, as 2025 is a 9 universal year. 2 plus 0 plus 2 plus 5 equals 9. So you can expect these themes to be applicable to the entire 2025. So choose to operate on the higher side of the number 9. So at this point, I'm going to transition into the supreme numerical breakdown of the word October, which I have right here. And I broke it down in both the Chaldean and the Pythagorean systems of numerology. In the Chaldean system, October adds up to the number 30, reduced down to a number 3. And in the Pythagorean system, it adds up to a number 33, reduced down to a number 6. I'll start with the Chaldean breakdown, and I'll start with the compound meaning of the number 30. And I'm going to read a brief description from a book, and I'll shout the book and the author out. Whose work that I highly respect and enjoy. Another colleague and student of Lloyd Strayhorn. Shout out to Jackie Levine. This description is coming from her book, Numbers Decoded, Cards Unfolded. Part numerology book, part cardology book. And she writes about the compound number 30. 30 is the number of mental superiority exceeding the ability of its peers. It's neither lucky nor unlucky, as it depends on the individual's mindset. 30 is good at managing large projects. 30 has an affinity for the theater, acting, playwriting, and music. It loves children and animals. And then it goes on to talk about the professions that are connected to the number 30. And then it ends off by saying on the lower vibration, 30 brings disloyalty. So already you're starting to see some alignment and similarities between the themes of the number 9 and the meaning of October from the supreme numerical perspective. And what are those similarities? We see it's neither lucky nor unlucky. I said about the number 9. Will it be a challenge or will it be positive? That depends on you and how you choose to operate. If you're operating on a higher vibration, then it will be lucky or beneficial to you. But if you're operating on the lower vibration of the number 30 or the number 3 or the number 9, then it's probably not going to work out for you. Another similarity is creativity in the arts. The number 30 mentioned theater, acting, playwriting, and music. I said the same about the number 9, tapping into your creativity. So by doing something creative this month, you can make the most out of October and be on the higher end of the energy rather than the lower or more challenging side of the energy. The last thing on the lower vibration brings disloyalty. Disloyalty can come about or can lead to conflict and open enemies. We see a connection and a similarity there. And I can use that to actually transition into the singular meaning of the number 3. The number 3 on the challenging or negative side, since we ended off with the disloyalty, is that number 3 can be tied to gossip and scandal. And by engaging in gossip and scandal, that can lead to conflict and open enemies. Scandal and gossip can come about because of disloyalty, or people might start to gossip because they're disloyal. So you're seeing the connection there. But on the positive side, the number 3 is a number of optimism, joyfulness, the number of expansion. So to make the most out of the month of October, you should keep a positive mindset, keep a joyful, positive mindset, especially with all of the conflict that's going on in the world, all of the wars that's going on in the world, all the negativity that's uh, being portrayed in the media, and which has been the theme of 2024. Because when you break down 2024, you got fours in here. 2 and 2 is 4. You got a 4 in here. Also, 4 warns you to protect your mental health. your mental well-being. And you can do that by keeping your mind positive and optimistic and balancing out, or rather even overpowering, all of the negative news that's going on by doing something creative or listening to high vibration music or high vibration conversation. The number three is about self improvement and improving one's image. During the month of October, you should improve yourself holistically, physically, mentally, spiritually, your health. Put yourself out there and express yourself. You can improve your public image by using your voice and using your arts or creativity to express yourself through speaking, through art, through music, and things of that nature. So this is how you have the upper hand for the month of October from the Chaldean perspective, the supreme numerical vibration of the word October. Now I'm getting ready to run out of recording space, so I'm going to pause here, take a sip of water, start a new recording, and build on the Pythagorean meaning of October from the supreme numerical breakdown. I'll be right back. All right, I'm back to finish the breakdown of October from a supreme numerical perspective, focusing on the Pythagorean system now. Like I said a moment ago, in the Pythagorean system, October adds up to a 33-6. And some numerologists usually tell you to reduce the 33 down to a 6. But in this situation, in this instance, I want to keep it as the 33 because it's very interesting that we're having the repetition of these threes in both systems. Looking at the individual letters, there's only one 3 in both systems in the word October. And like I just showed you, in the Chaldean system, the totality of the word adds up to a 30 reduced down to a 3. In the Pythagorean, we have the double 3. All these threes are a reminder to operate and vibrate on the positive and the higher side of the number 3 in order to have a successful October. That means staying joyful, staying optimistic, focusing on your growth and your advancement and your self improvement. By doing all of those things, you can come out on top by the end of this month. The number 3 on the positive side is also reminding us to balance out all of the negativity that comes with the number 9 in terms of conflict, enemies, wars, and things of that nature. It's also telling us that if you operate on the negative side on the 3, that can lead to the negative side of the 9. And if you recall, the number 3 on the negative side deals with gossip, scandal, and by engaging in gossip and scandal, that can lead to conflict, that can lead to open enemies, that can lead to anger and people allowing their temper to get out of hand. And as a master number, the number 33 represents a master teacher and a master healer. So October is here to teach us to learn how to be joyful, how to be optimistic, how to be humanitarian, having trouble saying this word, how to tap into your humanitarianism, how to be inspiring, how to be creative. It's reminding us to use our creativity and to express ourselves in positive ways so we can have a great month. Now, when you reduce it down to a 6, the 6 is telling us that the number 6 is here to teach us, since the number 6 is tied to education, it's here to teach us balance. And again, balancing out the negatives with the positives of the number 9. The number 6 is also tied to family. And I mentioned as I was going through the themes, particularly with inspiration, that one of the groups of people that you can inspire immediately is your immediate family. So October is reminding you that you should get close to your family and inspire your family, and that can help you to have a successful and prosperous October. Looking at the individual letters within October, we see there's 1-3 in the Chaldean system, 1-3 in the Pythagorean system. But as far as the doubling of energies, we see double twos in both systems. We see a double two in the Chaldean system with the B and the R, and we see a double two in the Pythagorean system with the T and the B. And you can think of the number two as, you can look at it as a challenge to the number nine or opposition to the number nine, or you can look at it as the opposite end or the balance to the number nine. When it's time to calm that number nine down, that fiery, forceful, violent energy down, the number two provides the balance. Number two is that gentle side, that gentle, peaceful, loving side. But we also have the double sixes in here. The double sixes are, or the number six is similar to the number two in that both the two and the six point to balance. The number two points to duality, but the number six is a little bit more forceful. It's a peaceful and loving number, but it's a little bit more forceful, meaning that if the number two runs the risk of being ran over and walked over, the double energy of the number six is here to be a little bit more assertive, to not become violent like the number nine on the negative side, but to still have a balanced and peaceful approach, but to be assertive at the same time. So to tie it all together, the vibration of the month and the word October on both systems is teaching us to be positive minded, optimistic, joyful, creative, avoid conflict, gossip, scandal, approach the month and all of our situations during the month of October with balance, and to be close to our families. And by doing that, we can reinforce the inspiration, the dreams fulfilled, the humanitarianism, the creativity, and the patience. So that has been the breakdown, your October 2024 forecast, along with your year 2025 preview of what's to come. Will it be a positive or a challenging month for you? Positive and challenging year for you next year? That's on you. You decide if you're going to vibrate on the higher side of the number nine and the number three and the number six, or if you're going to vibrate on the lower side of the number nine, the number three, and the number six. This is the universal energy. If you want to know how this month and next year will affect you on a more personal level and go into your personal year cycle and your personal month cycle, you can book a session with me by sending me an email or sending me a DM until I get my booking system set up. You can send me a message. I have 15-minute sessions, 30-minute sessions, and 1-hour sessions available to go in depth into your personal numbers, your forecasts, and how you can be successful and have the upper hand every month and every year. That's all I have. Thank you for watching. Be kind to yourself, be kind to others, and continue striving to be the best version of yourself. You have been watching Supreme Numerics in Mr. Westbrook's class, and I'll see you next time. Peace.